dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
Dear students, Form 3 class, this is geography, this is lesson 3. You had 2 lessons before, so this is our 3rd lesson. We are in the chapter climate and vegetation. You have the note papers. So today's topics are these 2 topics. You remember we talked about the different climatic regions. So we studied the hot climates, and today we are learning about the cool climates and at the same time the cold climates. So let's start our topic. The first one is the cool climate. So the cool climates, they differ from warm climate by having definite seasonal variation in temperature. So as you can see from here, this one, they have a seasonal variation in terms of temperature. Okay, the cool climate is subdivided into the following categories. The first one is called cool temperate western margin. The second one is called cool temperate continental interior. And the third one is called cool temperate eastern margin. So these are the different climatic regions of the cool climate. Cool temperate western margin, cool temperate continental interior, and at the same time cool temperate eastern margin. So we will focus and talk about each one. 2 important points we will talk about each one. The first one today is cool temperate western margin climate. So this one we will be talking about, another name it's called, and then the areas in the world that experience this kind of climate and the characteristics it has. So these are generally the important 2 points. The different regions it is found in the world, and at the same time you know the climatic characteristics of each one. So the cool temperate western margin, as you can see from here, it is also called you know the British type. That's also the other name it is given. Okay, so now which areas are found? Here are the areas that are found: British Isles or islands, Central and Northwestern Europe, Northwest USA and British Columbia in Canada, Southern Chile, and at the same time Tasmania in Australia. These were generally the main areas that were found. Okay, Tasmania and Australia. So as you can see from here, cool temperate western margin climate, it has also another name called British type, and at the same time these are generally the different regions in the world that are found. So as a student you should be able to be familiar at least 2 different regions that experience this kind of climate. Okay, what are the characteristics of that area? Warm summer. The summers are warm. The summers are warm. Okay, warm summers, cool winters, 2 to 7 degrees Celsius, small temperature range. The difference in the temperature, the daily temperature is the night temperature and the day temperature. The difference is very small when you subtract. Well distributed rainfall throughout the year. The rainfall is also distributed generally all the year. In terms of millimeter, it is between 760 and 2000 millimeter. And they also experience cyclonic rainfall in the coastal lands and relief rainfall in the mountainous area. I think you are familiar with these types of rainfall. You have studied in the primary and at the same time in Form 1, so no need to explain again. High humidity in winter. During the winter, the humidity is very high. Humidity is generally the amount of water vapor in the air. So during the winter, the humidity is absolutely very high. Long summer days with irregular thunderstorms. So during the summer, the days are longer than the night, and there is also irregular thunderstorms when it's raining. So generally, these are the characteristics. Okay. Convergence of subtropical and polar air masses. These 2 air masses, they also meet. When these 2 air masses, they meet, they bring also a rainfall. And the last point was that one. So generally, we talked about at the same time the characteristics. So you should be able to be familiar at least 3 from those important characteristics. We will go to the second climatic region of the cool. It's called cool temperate continental interior climate. cool temperate continental interior climate. This one also has another name. It is called Siberian type. Siberian type. Okay, so the Siberian type, let us see where the different areas it is found. So Alaska and most of Canada. Second, Eurasia covering Sweden, Finland, Poland, Germany, USSR up to Kamchatka Peninsula in the east. What about the characteristics? The characteristics it has is warm summers with temperature of about 18 degrees Celsius. So the summer is warm and the temperature always is around 18 degrees Celsius. Short summer, the summer is very short. During the winter it's very cold. The temperature sometimes reaches what? The temperature even might reach up to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, below 0, 20 degrees. Okay, long winters with long nights. The winters are very long, they are longer, and at the same time the nights are at the same time longer than days. So these are generally also the characteristics. What about the rainfall they get? Most of the precipitation and the rain they get is in the form of snow during the winter. What about the type of rain they get also? The type of rainfall they get is also called convectional rainfall. So the rain is between 400 to 500 millimeter. And at the same time, the type of rainfall they get is convectional rainfall. And that rainfall they get is accompanied by thunderstorms. So convectional rainfall, relief rainfall, orographic rainfall, frontal rainfall are the different types of rainfall. So as a student, you should be able to read and understand what they are, because our topic now is very different from that one. Okay, they are the basics of the climate. And now let us go to the third one, okay? The third one is called cool temperate western marching climate. Still we are talking about the cool climate. We are talking about the cool climate. So now, what about this one? Does it have another name? Yes, of course, it has another name. The other name it has called what? Laurentian type. So the Laurentian type, what are the areas that experience this kind of climate called cool temperate western marching? These are the regions: northern USA and southern Canada, southern Argentina, North and South Korea, northern China, central and northern Japan, and eastern Siberia. These are the different regions. What about the characteristics? What kind of characteristics these areas experience in terms of climate? The summers are long and they are warm, and the temperature is about 18 degrees Celsius. The winter is absolutely extremely very cold. You can see from there -40 up to 0 degrees Celsius. Extremely freezing. Precipitation mostly is all year round, between 600 to 1000 millimeter. And the precipitation during the winter is in the form of snow, because as you can see from the temperature, it is below 0. Okay, high humidity in summer. Generally, these are the important characteristics from this part called cool temperate western marching climate. So we have finished the first part in our lesson today, cool climate. So we discussed about the different 3 cool climatic regions of the world, the different names they have, the climatic characteristics, and at the same time the areas they are found. So each one you should be able to know the other name it has, at the same time 2 areas or 2 regions in the world found, and at the same time 2 characteristics. So now the second topic today's lesson, as you can see, student, is here is the cold climate. So this one is also known as polar desert climate or Arctic and Antarctic climate. It is found beyond Arctic Circle, 66.5 degrees north and south of the equator. In terms of latitude, this is the latitude number that the cold climates are found, 6 degrees half both sides, the southern hemisphere and in the northern hemisphere. So now the cold climate is categorized into 2 types. The first one is called tundra, and the second one is also called polar climate. Tundra and polar climate. So we'll talk about each one. We'll start with the tundra climate. The different areas it is found, as you can see from here: North America, bordering Arctic Ocean, the northern part of America from Alaska through Canada to Greenland, from northern coast of Scandinavia to the northern east of Russia. Even they are also found the islands are called Pavin Islands. Okay. What about the characteristics they have? What about the characteristics they have? The characteristics they have. The first characteristic is short, cool summer. Short, cool summer. Short, cool summer. Okay, the summers are cool and at the same time they are short. And the temperature is around 10 degrees Celsius. The winters are very long and at the same time they are very cold. Minus 29 to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Sometimes there are continuous days in winter and summer for several days. A complete day will continue, no night at all for several days. And at the same time the precipitation is low, around 250 millimeter. Precipitation generally is in the form of rain and snow during the winter. Okay, what the second one, the last point, is the polar climate. The polar climate. We are talking about the cold climate. We divided it into two types, so this is the second one. So this one is experienced at the poles, you know, the two poles of the world, okay? Generally it's experienced at the poles. Okay, so experienced at the poles, the North Pole, and at the same time the South Pole, the two poles. In terms of countries, Iceland, Greenland, and Antarctica. What are the characteristics? The characteristic temperature is permanently below freezing point. The temperature all the time is -0, and there is always a permanent snow cover. It's difficult to see even the sand and the soil. That's called permafrost. One completely the land is covered by our ice, and the storms that are common are called blizzards. Okay. And there is no storms. Generally, the storms that the rest of the world and the land experience is sandstorms, or those that are involved in the other types of weather, like tropical storms. But this one is completely a storm made up of snow, and there is always continuous winter nights and summer days. Okay. That's for all today. These are your questions. Take them as a homework. Distinguish between warm and cool climate. You will be able to read and do them. Okay, that's for all today. Take care. Stay at home. Assalamu alaikum. The movie 300